Okay, all right. So what we're doing here is learning a little bit about Filmora 9 on the Mac. So thanks, Kay, for joining us. And this will be a recording for a few other people as well. And we've just been going through some teething issues of installing some programs and updating things and making sure that also that Kay had a video to work on her computer. And it is a video of me, so that's going to be a bit scary. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my Filmora screen. No, wrong Filmora. That's right, sorry. I'm going to open up my brand new version that I have downloaded too. Let's see. Come on, launch. Filmora 9, here we are. Okay. It's just not coming up on my share screen option at the moment, but desktop should do it. Okay. Let's see if it opens. It's jumping about at the moment. I'm not sure what that means. What does it want me to do? Congratulations. All right, that's great. That's great now. I'm not going to buy it yet. We just want to work in it. All right. Now I've got it open. All right, great. Can you see it?
Yes.
Yes, okay, good. All right. Now we've got the spinning wheel of death, so let's just see what happens there. Hopefully nothing does. All right. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to shut down Chrome so that it's taking up less memory. All right. Forget the tour. I'm going to take you on the tour. Forget this. All right. Okay. So we're in Filmora, and if you get to that smaller screen and it just says create new movie, then just create new movie. And what you want to do is make sure that you're choosing a 16:9 movie first, if that's what you want to do. So just so you know, all movies on like YouTube, the normal, this type size, this size video is called 16:9 video, which is a 1920 by 1080 resolution. So that's just your standard HD video, which is what most phones and everything do, and most cameras. Mm-hmm. It's not 4K. 4K is a lot more than that. And sometimes you'll see videos that are the next size down, which is 1280 by 720 or something like that. But usually we just work with this because this is what our phones and everything will shoot in. So the first thing we want to do is just import our movie. So Kay, if you want to follow along on my computer or your computer, whatever
just
you want to do.
Yeah.
But what we want to do here is we just want to go File, Import Media, and we go Import Media Files. So you can do things straight from camera or phone, but we're just going to browse to our folder, okay, that we saved. Now it is wanting to default to the movies, but we're going to go to our desktop because we know that we saved it on our desktop, and that's where you saved yours too. And we called it Filmora Lesson, same as you. And you can import the video of me if you want. I'm going to import a video of this guy. All I did was select it and hit enter there, by the way, or you can double click it. So what it's done here is it's actually just brought it up into this area here. I'm trying to think what it's called. It's kind of like, it's all your assets. It's all your media essentially. So if you import other things in here, it's not actually in the movie yet. It's just sitting inside the project. Now that I've done one thing, the next thing to do is just save this project straight away. So I'm going to, no, why can't I do that? Maybe I have to do something else first. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this video of him, and I am going to just drag it down, and you can't put it in the wrong spot. Or can you? Anyway, I'm going to drag it down into this bar below here. And it just says, the resolution or frame does not match the settings of this project. Do you want to change? So what I want to do is I just want to match to the media. So it's just saying that the frame rate is just slightly different, but you just tell your project, just match it to the media, okay? Sometimes this happens, I'm not sure why. So I have dragged this video into this area down here. Now this area is like layers on a cake, okay? So at the moment, the video is sitting in this video layer. This layer below here is an audio layer. So if we were going to add music, which we will later, I will drag it into that one. It won't let me drag it into the wrong area, like I said. So, and this one up the top here, it doesn't show anything yet, but if we add titles and things like that, that's probably going to sit there. So it is kind of like layers on a cake. So we've got the music at the bottom. The music doesn't need to be seen, so it can sit at the bottom. And we've got the movie sitting here. We can have multiple layers of movies as well. And then up the top layer, because it needs to be on top of the video, is the words basically, or the captions and things like that. So what I'm going to do here, and you can see here, these are the sound bars. So you can see, I can actually see where he starts talking. So it's actually going to be really easy to figure out where it, and I'm just clicking along the line at the moment. And you can do that by moving your mouse. You can do that by moving your cursor, and you can hear the noise that he's making. And I just want to check that he really does start talking there before I hit cut and split and things like that. So,
are you ready for the National Construction Code updates for 2019? Is your business going to be...
This is pretty boring. This was take one. That's why I'm just playing around with the tests. But the whole point is, okay, the video started, and it's great because Filmora 9 actually has much bigger sound bars. It used to have these tiny little ones, and it was really hard to tell where people start talking and where their pauses are. And yeah, so what we're going to do is we are just going to press that red scissors there with the mouse, and we're going to cut it. And if I drag this away, you can see there that there's now 2 sections of video. And I could have done that by pressing the scissors. Let's say I stuffed it up, and I'll just Command Z on the Mac to undo that. And let's say I don't want to press the scissors. I can also do Command B. And I prefer to Command B because it just always works. Sometimes when you hit the scissors, it doesn't work. So that has actually split it up. And so now I can just select this. Just tell me anytime if I'm going too fast, Kay.
Yes,
I'm going to select this front bit, and I'm just going to hit delete. That's it. And what I do is I just drag this back, because wherever this red line is where it starts playing. So I'm just dragging it back to the start and just making sure that I got it right. Now, also, I'm like, I could zoom in a little bit more. So this is what this line here is for. You can just zoom in on the project a little bit more. You can get really quite close. And this is when you can see blips and everything, and you can see, oh, this is where he said, and I can really easily delete an or something like that. So I'm just going to hit play.
Are you ready for...
And I might go, you know what? It was just a fraction. It's starting a fraction too short. And what I can do, and I'm just going to zoom out a little bit just to show you better. is, I've gone too far, is you can just see these two arrows here. It's like a draggy arrow. I'm just going to drag. That's not playing ball. Just hold on a second. See how I can drag in a tiny little bit at a time, and I can just go doink, and that's actually cut it as well. But that stuff, that footage is not gone forever. It's still sitting there. If you've stuffed it up, you can drag it back. And in fact, I can drag it all the way back to that first cut. So you don't have to worry about stuff disappearing. If you edit too far, you can just drag it all the way back. So, and that's what those little draggy tools are best for. So there's the 3 different ways to do it. You can get the red arrow here and press the scissors. You can get the red arrow here and press Control B, or I could have just dragged it all the way along till it got to that bit. Either way, it doesn't actually get rid of the footage beforehand. It just hides it essentially. So now I somehow reduced the zoom in size when I did that instead of, what did I do? All right, there we go. When in doubt, press Command Z and undo. So it seems to me like it's still got a fair bit of, yeah.
Are you ready?
Okay, so the cut didn't work before that, so I'm just going to delete that again. All right, so now we've got that. This is just another freaky thing that sometimes it just zooms in and out by being up here on this. There's just all sorts of ways to do things sometimes. So what I can see...
Can I ask a question? Sorry.
Yes, go. Yeah.
So when you're actually seeing the sound bars down the bottom, that's also an indicator too when there's not much talking either, isn't it?
Yeah, so you can see
that as a guide.
You can see here that it's gone down. So this is probably where he probably paused and thought for a second. So let's just play here.
Is your business going?
So he did have a very long pause there. So what I'm going to do is cut that there, and then I'm just going to drag that back a little bit here, just to create less of a pause. So now just watch this.
Is your business going?
See how it was just a light little jut? That's fine. I mean, we can put nice transitions in and things like that if we want to, but most editing is just like that, a tiny, tiny little jut. So it also looks like he might stop talking here as well.
I'm David.
See, he's gone for another take, right?
Right.
I'm David Morehouse from AFRC Lab. We're here to help you with your fenestration issues.
There you go. You ever heard of fenestration? It's a big word. So it sounds like he's probably stopped talking here again. It looks like it.
What the F is fenestration?
So I'm just going to cut that, drag it in. Okay. So that's the real basics of cutting a movie. And he probably ended here. He did. All right. So we're just going to get to the bit where he's finished talking, and before most people look away and roll their eyes and all sorts of things at the end of a movie, at the end of a clip. So you just want to try and cut it before they start doing that.
Shortly.
See how so this is obviously the first take that he did. That's why I've got so many videos. So I'm just gonna cut it there. I'm gonna press Command B because that's one of my other ways to chop it, and I'm just gonna delete that there. Now, like I said before, if just double checking that I was recording all this time. Yes. Like I said, if we stuff that up, we could just go like this and just drag it out. So what I'm going to do now is, now I can save the project. It wanted me to have a video in this section before I saved it. So I'm going to save this project. And what I want to do is don't save it in the Filmora area because that's where it wants to default to. what I want you to do is actually save it in the folder that you've had the videos and all of your resources. And by resources, I mean, if this video ends up having pictures in it, may have music and everything like that, I want to save everything in this one folder that we're creating this project in, because then when you go back to that folder another time, Filmora will look for the resources, and if the resources have moved, it won't know where to find them. You can locate them, but it can get lost. So it's always best to just create a one project folder. So if you're making a video, you know, called Kay's Christmas, you would make a folder called Kay's Christmas and save everything that you absolutely put in that project in that folder. So I'm going to call this David Test. That's the name. That's just the name of the project. I'm going to cut this here, delete this last bit. Now, he's done multiple takes of this video. So I want to add in the rest of them, because this was just all to create one video. Look at that face. So what I'm going to do is go back to File, Import Media Files, and go back to this and this folder that I had created called Filmora Lesson, and I am going to select all of the videos that have him in it. I'm just holding down Shift and selecting all those other ones, and I'm going to open it up, and it's just going to put them in this area up here on the top left. And like I said, that's sort of your media asset area. What I'm going to do as well is I'm going to import a couple of other things so that we can play with multiple things. So I'm going to import a picture or something like that. So I'm going to, first of all, I'm just going to move something into that folder so that everything's in the same. All right, I've got a, what's this? A screenshot on my computer. All right, for bounce. That'll do. I'm going to move, I've just dragged that into a folder, and I'm also going to go to where I've got some music, and I'm going to copy some music into it. Actually, no, that doesn't matter. I always work with music in the same area, so that's fine. So, all right, can you still see my Filmora screen? Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to import the picture that I saved in there in the same folder. It was just called Screenshot. And so I'll show you what you can do with photos as well. And I'm also going to import some audio. And what I try and do on my computer is actually, I have, because once you find a good royalty-free music, you just want to save them. So I have them all saved in a folder, and I don't worry that they're not in the project folder, because if my project is looking for that song, I'll always know that that's in the music folder anyway. So I'm going to again just File, Import Media, and I'm going to browse to where the music is. I've got a folder called Ben Sound Music, and we'll just do one that is a bit fun, which I can test here. Whoa, that was loud. Is that just as loud for you? All right. Okay, so again, you can see that in this area here, it's put the music file in there too. So now the interesting thing about this is, see this tick over the IMG 5006? Mm-hmm. That means that it's actually in the project. So none of these other assets have got a tick next to them. So that means that they haven't been put in the project. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to put all the videos of him in there. So now in Filmora for a PC, you can just press plus here, but on the Mac, you have to drag, which is actually annoying. So see how I drag that in there and it's got this gap? Mm-hmm. You don't want a gap. So it should have snapped. Yeah, there we are. It's snapped to where my red line is. It's much easier to do this on the PC because you can just go plus, 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 and it automatically puts them one after the other, but I have to do this dragging in. All right, so 5007 is in there. So now I'm going to drag in 5008. Just drag it, snap it next to it. I don't have to have the red line at the end. I can just go 5009. I don't know why I have a 50092, but it doesn't matter. Maybe it's a version 2. Could be the same video, I'm not sure. 5010, 5011, 5012. Now this would be very rare that you would be adding in so many video files, but this happens in my job a lot, is taking lots of little snippets of different things and having to piece them all together. And I'll just show you one thing that you can do. You could say, oh, you know what? I think this version, this snippet needs to be after this snippet. So I'm just going to drag this over here and it put that there. So I can just move this back. It just, oops, where'd it go? Sorry. Did it crash? No, it didn't, it just disappeared. All right, so I have now got, and you can see it better here when I've zoomed in, I've done 5009, 5010, and then I am going to do 5009 because I wanted to change the order of it, because maybe he said something better in that place and it needed to be first or something like that. So you can move videos around, and sometimes they do get out of whack and out of alignment and they'll move other things forward. In this case, everything just moved along nicely. It didn't actually create a gap. So it is very much drop and drag. So in this case, I've gotten that out of there. So now I have to see how I move 5008 to the end. Well, I don't want to have to move every individual file down to match up to this one. So what I can do is actually select them all. So I've selected it with my mouse and I'm going to hit shift and I'm going to go select. And hold on, has it done them all? Shift, shift, shift. Sorry. Has it done all of them? No, it hasn't. Maybe it's, sorry. Maybe it's command, command, command. There we are. All right. Sorry, it keeps unselecting one of them. All right, I've got all of them selected there now by pressing command and clicking on them, and I'm just going to drag all of them like that. So now we've got a whole bunch of them in a row. Okay, and Macs are pretty good at saving, but I often just like to do a bit of a Command S or something like that, file save, so that it's saving the project as we go. Now, let's just say that David was talking about the Bounce Ninja Warrior course and that we needed to show an image in the middle of his video. We can do this. We can just drag this photo in here and we can just say, okay, I want to show this video between 5006 and 5007. This could have just been a split in the middle of the video. Like it could have been while he was talking. I could have said, oh, I'm going to split you up there in that video and I'm going to chuck in an image while he's talking. But by putting an image in the middle of this actually stops the video. So here he is talking and then you could show an image for some reason and then he starts talking again. Another thing you can do is say, well, you know what? I want an image to come up while he's still talking. So in that case, what we would do is, let's see if we can drag it. See if that works. It did work. Okay. I have dragged another layer of, I've essentially made another layer of the cake, and that is another video on top of a video or a picture on top of a video. And sometimes this is called PIP, which is called picture in picture. And I should also be able to right click on this image and no, they've changed it. It's fine. It doesn't say that anymore, but that's good. We just dragged it to the layer above. So it's basically on the cake. It's saying this picture is sitting on top of that video, and this picture is going to appear while he's still talking. So you can hear he still's talking. And so he says, I specialize in these things here. Well, let's imagine this is a photo of doors or windows or something like that, because that's what he's talking about. So we could have had a good reference photo or something like that of a building or something, and put that picture in here. And we can also do things to this picture. So we can make it move, we can zoom in and out, we can do things like that. So I'm just going to right click on this picture, and we are going to choose this option here called crop and zoom. And it's telling you how big the picture is here, 1366 by 768. This picture was not actually technically high quality enough for this example, because it was a screen dump from my computer, and my computer doesn't go that big. So ideally, if you do have a photo in a video, you want the resolution, and you could make this in Canva or a paint program or something like that. If you write this down, you want your images to be the same size as the video, which is 1920 by 1080, whereas this at the moment is 1366 by 768. It doesn't matter. It just looks a little bit, it'll just look not as crisp. But most people are watching videos quite small on social media, so it doesn't really matter anyway. But ideally, you want images to be that same size, the resolution as your video. So what I'm going to say here is I actually want it to be a 16 by 9 image. And hit OK. So it's actually, it means that it's probably slightly changed the look of it to fit it in. But the other thing I want to show you is, okay, I've cropped it to a 16 by 9, so it would have cropped it in some regards. But now I want to pan and zoom. So sometimes this is just something that you do with pictures to give them a bit of movement. So see this red, reddy orangey square here, it says start, and this blue square here says end. And so what it's going to do is it's going to zoom to that bit exactly where I've told it to, but I can move that as well. So I can change the start thing to be more like, I want it to be just showing, I just want to show less of the screen. So I might just want to have Ninja Squad. And then, so that will be the start of the zoom. And now I've clicked on the blue box, and I just want to have it the same size, but going all the way to the end. So that means it's going to zoom, not actually zoom in, it's just going to zoom from the left to the right, which is quite a common thing when you put in pictures, because pictures are often a different resolution to the video anyway. And sometimes you want to do a bit of a top to bottom thing, or a left to right thing, or slightly zoom from here to there kind of thing, just to give a picture a bit of movement in a video. So now we play this and see how it's moving from left to right. And it's just nice and fluid. You don't see any of that, the stuff that was there before. Oh, now I double clicked on it and that's showing the things. That's a mistake. If I wanted to go back in, I right click and I do the crop and zoom. So it doesn't have, they don't have to be the same size. It can be, I want to zoom from here to just here. So it'll actually make that kid appear a lot bigger. So it's going to go from this size to this size. So there's a bit of movement and there's a bit of zooming. So that's just what that looks like. So does that make sense about putting an image in? Mm-hmm. So again, all I had to do was I've got the option of putting in the image where the video stops and it plays the image. But in most cases, you put an image over the top of a video, because you usually want the sound of the video to keep playing at the same time. There's a little trick that you can do if you ever, let's say the focusing went out or the lighting got really bad, or this is what I do for when people are creating, like I video them at an event and they want their voice on the whole time and a picture of them for some of the time. Like if you imagine, okay, someone presenting at BNI, I'm filming them, but then I'm inserting their slides from their presentation. So this is what I do a lot here, is they'll keep talking and then they'll say, now here on this slide, you can see that blah, 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 blah. And that slide would then show up like that. And I can add other animation to that slide and things like that. Now it also just picks a standard time that this picture would play for, but I can make, sorry, it's just jumped out again. Super sensitive because I'm on Zoom. What I did was I just dragged, sorry, it keeps doing that. I just dragged that photo out to extend the time that photo lasted for. And that'll actually, I haven't zoomed on this one, but let's, geez, it's not liking that. Let's see if we can right click. I have double clicked on this now, and I'm just seeing if it, changes the time that it's staying up there. Sure, you used to be able to right click on this and say make it stay up for 12.2 seconds or something like that, but I'm just not finding that at the moment. So does that make sense anyway? It keeps crashing out when I do that, but to literally make that photo go last for longer or shorter, all you have to do is drag it like a piece of video. A photo can actually go for the whole length of the movie or something like that. So an example of that is when I create podcasts for people and we've just got an audio, we've just put some pictures over the top of the audio, and that is how we make a podcast for, turn a podcast into a video cast and put it on YouTube. And so, yeah, like I said, it could be one picture that lasts the whole of the audio time. So let's say it's 15 minutes or something like that. I can just have one picture, or I can have multiple pictures, and they can be zooming in and out. So that's something that I do for a meditation. So I make a meditation for one client. She sends me the audio and a picture that she wants, or one or two pictures that she wants. And we insert that picture and we do that nice zoom effect. So that's got just a little bit of movement, and then I repeat it, and then I repeat it, and then I repeat it for the whole of the length of the meditation. So it's just got this nice little subtle movement of the same image the whole time that it's playing. Does that make sense? The way that you can use images on top of audio?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay. All right. So we've done that. Next, let's say we need to introduce who David is. So we're going to make some captions. So I'm going to go back to the start. This little bar down here, I wish it was bigger, but it's not. It's very hard to grab sometimes, but that'll get us back to the start. But you can also just do this, and if you get really stuck, I zoom in and out a lot on Filmora. So because sometimes it's just quicker to zoom out and just go whoop, back to the start, and then I'll just zoom.
Show me how to do that again. How to zoom in and out.
There's the zoom panel is here.
Oh, there.
You can see my mouse, can't you?
Yeah.
So that's the in and out. I think on the Mac you can also Command plus, yes, and Command minus, right? So that's zoom in and out.
Mm-hmm.
And so I do use this function a lot to move around because of this pesky little bar here that is is actually sometimes very hard to grab onto. So I'm just holding down my mouse while I drag that. All right, so now what I want to do is do some titles. So up the top of the menu, I'm just going to Command S again because I like to save. It's not saving, it's already done it, obviously. So what I want to do is add some titles. So this is what up the top here is, titles. And I haven't downloaded anything yet, but it's just got the custom things that it comes with, basically. And so there's quite a few different types of titles. So there's trying to see if it's got the intro screens. Here we go. Okay, so there's these things called openers and stuff like that. So I'm just going to pick any odd one. I'm just going to pick opener 1, and I've selected it here, and I'm just going to hit play here because it will just show me what it looks like. And I go, yeah, I like that. That suits David. So all I have to do is just drag it down into front of his video, and it will pop it there. So now in the video, I'm in the video area down there. I've got a new title. So, and it will again just choose a default time that it wants it to run. And I'm just going to say, geez, it's not liking that. I should just be able to cut it actually. I'm just going to hit cut here and just go, I only want it that length. All right. See, I think I'm moving things and it's actually zooming in and out. Sorry, there we go. All right, I want to go back to my new opener because I want to edit it now. All we have to do is just double click on it. Just keeping an eye on the time. Right. Sometimes this is a little bit slow to open, and occasionally I get errors here and you just ignore it. All right, okay. So what it's done here is it's opened up a edit box basically here on the top left. Should be able to, I don't know if I can type right in here. No, I can't. All right, I have to do it over here. All right, so I'm just going to say David Morehouse. And I'm going to change this title here. So all I did was click on it. I can't seem to, I can edit it in there directly. All right. Okay, so at the moment I'm editing it on the right. So I'm just going to write this, introducing David Morehouse. So in this case, it doesn't fit in that bit, but sometimes there's other things that we can edit. I'm just going to hit this advanced thing here because this advanced button, because sometimes we can do more things. Okay. All right. It's just a little bit easier to edit in this area sometimes. So I'm going to say, okay, that word doesn't fit there, but maybe that white box can be expanded. And I doubt it. Doesn't look like anything's changeable in this one. Let's just have a look. No, okay. Sometimes in this little area down here, these are the assets of this little introduction. And sometimes there's a little text box or something like that. And sometimes you can actually make that text box bigger. So, and sometimes you can change the colors and things like that. But in this case, the only thing I can change is the color of that. So, you know, if you wanted that, you could have that, you know, it could just say introducing David Morehouse. It just doesn't look that good because it's because it doesn't fit into that sort of white box. But maybe we just want to keep that word and we just want to make it a bit smaller. So just like any you know, when you're changing a Word document or something, you just go in to this area up here. I'll change that. So it's a 35 at the moment. So I'll change it to 24. And well, that just about fits. That'll do in this case. And let's say I want a different font. There we go. And let's say I wanted David Morehouse to be a different font as well. And I want to make it bigger and bold. And then maybe I want to change the color here, purple or something like that. This area over here on the left allows me to do a lot more different things. So this is where I could change the color. I could make that a bit more see-through with the opacity. I could add a border around the text. Just loves to choose hot pink as the default. Let's just go white or something like that. And I can also say, all right, that size 8 border is a bit too fat. I'm going to reduce this down to 2 or something like that, just by dragging it, just clicking on there, going, oh yeah, that looks a bit hideous, but you know, this is just for playing around. Can move things around. I can add a bit of a shadow to the text. You can do some quite decent sort of things in here. So we're in the customization tab at the moment. If I wanted to animate this text and like make it look like a typewriter, we can do that here. So it's going to make his name come out like a typewriter. Now, what that has done down here in this area here, so this is all the text that we've been making. So there's introducing and there's David Morehouse. So this is telling me that introducing is going to come on later than David Morehouse. So I'm going to say, no, you know what? I want the word introducing to come up quite at the start. And then I want David Morehouse to come in. So if you show here, I just play the button, you can see now introducing comes out first. And I also decide I want it to come out typing, but I don't want it to disappear. So that's what this little thing here is. So I am dragging this here because when you animate a bit of text like this, its default is to make it disappear as well. So like typewriter or something like that. And so I'm going to say, I don't want that text to disappear. So I'm going to drag this all the way to the end. And what this means is this little lighter green section, this is how long it will take to type his name. And the full length is how long his name will be up. So again, if we play, if we drag up to the start, this is just a little introduction. It'll go introducing David Morehouse, and it typed out his name. And I just might go, you know what, it typed his name out a little bit quick. So I'm just going to stretch this out, and that'll just take a little bit longer for it to type out David's name. But it stays up there. It doesn't disappear. Whereas if I want it to disappear, I would drag that back in there, and that would make him disappear, his name disappear at the last little second. It was so quick though, you can't see it. So is this sort of making sense at the moment?
It is. It's just that I'll probably have to, not probably, I'm going to have to rewatch it and do things. I'm making notes as I'm going through, but it's just, it'll sink in once I start playing with it, I think.
Yeah. So this is just your real basic kind of opener. You might not even do this kind of opener, but it's just there. An opener means that it's not sitting on top of the video. So it's its own little section of video. But let's say you wanted to do something that was sitting on top of the video. Now let's see if they've got their titles. Should. Okay, so these titles are the ones that goes on top of the video. So I'm just going to select it here, and I'll just play it so you can see what it looks like. You go, oh yeah, I like the look of that. So you'll just drag this and see how now this one, it defaulted to sitting on top of the video, not next to it. So then it knows, yes, it knows that titles can only sit on top of a video, whereas a opener, for example, so let's say you wanted to have another opener in between two sections of video, it can sit on top, or you can drag it in between there. And that wasn't downloaded there, it's just downloaded. So an opener will stop the video for you if you want to, but like I said as well, you can have an opener sitting on top So it could play,
The F is fenestration.
and it can just be a little visual demonstration while the person's still talking in the background. So you've got your options there with openers, but titles will always sit on the top, and they're usually quite transparent, and they'll work over the top of the video. So again, I'm going to go into the advanced area. I mean, I can change it here. Welcome or something like that. And I just find it easier to work in the advanced tab. So then I can go, oh, look, I spelt welcome wrong. I'm going to go to customize, and I'm going to fix that up. There we go. Oops, it's gone out of it. All right, and then I might say, oh, do you know what? I like this text style. Oh, I'm going to make that. So all I had to do was just, highlight the word welcome and change it. Can you sort of see how it's changing the word welcome when I do that? I don't know if, for me, the menus are in the way. So
ready for the National Construction Code.
So you can see that it changed the word welcome to the style that I chose. And then you go, oh, you know what, I don't like that. I'm going to change it to blue. Now, is it doing it? There it is. No, that doesn't look good. Oh, yes, that one, yellow and black. That looks much better, So in this case of this new title thing, I can only change what the text says and what the font is. I will not be able to change anything else that I think. This is why I come down here. I'm in the advanced area now, and this is all the text. So here, title, your. Now, I don't know why it's showing it in that order. Oh no, that's fine. That's fine. It's whichever one starts first. So it says here, yours comes up before the word title comes up before the word here, and so on. It doesn't matter that they're sitting on top of each other. It just means that it was placed in there in that order. It just gets a bit confusing when you read it that way. And this welcome word, well, that's starting later. No, I want that to start earlier. So I drag this out. Now, again, this is showing you that this text is going to disappear because that's what these little bits at the end mean. So let's just test it and see what it looks like.
The National Construction Code updates.
All the text disappears. And they've done that because the animation is that square. If you watch the square gets smaller, and it gets smaller basically to that little talking mark. So that's what suits this thing. So you would just keep it at that, but again, you can extend the time that it did that. So you might say, I just want this word just up a little bit longer. No, it's not letting me. Okay, looks like that's not customizable. It needs things finished by that, obviously, for the animation. But you can certainly change the word. So I'm going to change that to welcome to, what kind of type? Waterman Center, so that's where it is. Customize, oh, there it is. Okay, and then you could go, oh, that doesn't look very centered. I'm going to drag this. See how when I drag it, it puts these lines here. So that one coming down from the center now is telling me, yeah, that's centered. And this will center the word center. So obviously I can't change that orange box. See, I've selected on this box and it says nothing to configure. Sometimes you go into things like this and you can actually change the color of something. Very rarely, but occasionally you can do things like that. Yeah, so, and then you might say, okay, I want to customize the way that that this word looks, and I could just go into here and choose a bunch of different things, or I can just totally customize it myself and say, I just want a color fill, not a gradient fill. I want it to be purple. Again, just these kinds of things. I want it to have a blue outline, light blue. I want that text border to be a size 18, you know. I want no text shadow. Or I do want a text shadow, but I want that shadow to be more red. And then that will do that. Though it doesn't look like it's got a red shadow on it, does it? So I don't, oh yeah, maybe it does a little bit. It's hard to see. So let's say I really love the way this font looks. I can also save this as a custom look. So I can go save as custom. And I'm going to call this my, you know, purple and blue railway extra bold or something like that. I'm just going to cough. All right, so it's just saved the way that font looks. And these customs can actually come in very handy when you're doing things like subtitles and stuff. So I've had enough of mucking around with this. So I hit OK. I go back into my video and I just play it.
Are you ready for the National Construction Code updates?
And you can go, yep, all right, that was all right. Oh, it covers up his face a bit. Let's see if we can move it. Oh, look, we can, you know. We can move the animation panel, but we have to move the individual words separately, which is a bit annoying, but you can do it. So this is just really, really bad graphical looking examples, but we're just having a bit of fun. So you just play it again and you go, yeah, that's better because it's not cutting his face off so much. So, and sometimes this is why you as a videographer, you often film people off center because you've got more of a chance to put something next to their shoulder or something like that. This all making sense so far, okay? So, oh, you've gone. You disappeared on me. Doesn't matter, we'll keep going. I'll just...
Dog barks or something, that was all.
No, that's fine, that's fine.
All right.
All
okay.
right, so you are here. I thought you'd disappeared.
No, been here the whole time. Yeah.
I've hit record again. Is everything making sense so far?
Yeah. It's just, I think it's just a process. I just had to make sure, you know, like I'm looking where everything is and everything, and it just be a matter of playing it back and having a good thing. Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
So I'm just really just showing. This is the basics kind of stuff. So cutting, openers, titles, things like that. And let's say, okay, now we want to subtitle it because and you can learn all more about subtitling if you watch the introduction one I did yesterday,
right.
On ways to get your subtitles captioned, but we can do it the old-fashioned way in this case. So what you can do here is trying to click back, got lost. All right. Included. All right. So I want to do, so there's things that like are lower thirds. So these are sometimes used, can you put it on top of it? Yeah, you can. Okay, that's good. I didn't know if you could put it on.
The National Construction Code.
So I could have another title pop up down there if I wanted to. I've just dragged that on top of that. I'm pretty sure in the old version you couldn't do both. So there's actually more layers in these newer versions, which is good. But let's say we just want to, I'm going to just scroll down to a little bit where we haven't played around with much. So save the project as we go. All right. So let's say this was a new speaker or something like that. I could drag in this lower third, and I could just say, you know, David Morehouse from the Building Co. He's not called that, but I can't think of the business name. All right. So, you know, that would just, this is called a lower third, and that would just pop up. And you'd go, oh, that Building Co. looks like it's a bit over to the left. I'm just going to put it a bit more to the right. Some of these things end up being quite tiny and they're sort of hard to move. But, you know, everything's adaptable in here. I can change, usually, you can change most things like the font and the size of it and things like that. But, you know, you wouldn't want to go too big because it just won't fit in the space that they have allowed. But also things like this one, these titles usually, lower thirds, I mean, they usually are, I'm going to go into advanced, you can usually make them longer. So I can go, if I had lots of text to say, I could make it longer, I could make it a bit, you know, a little bit bigger. I don't think you can just stretch it up. Oh, look, you can. There you go. So this looks really ugly, but it's just to show you that you can do these things. So you could say, all right, I want my lower third to be that big, and I'm going to put that there, and I'm going to put that there. Lots more text and more text. All right, and then you go, oh, it's gone off the screen, so I'm going to drag it out. And then you go, oh, it was too much text, so I'm going to either reduce the size, and then you go, yeah, that's a bit better. Just drag it around there. So that's lower thirds. These are not really good for doing captions because often you want to fit a lot more words on the page. So let's go to a section where he's actually talking again. And we are going to make our own caption because I don't like the way they do it. I always do mine quite different, but I'm just scrolling to see the standard, and then we can just try to remember what they call them. Openers, subtitles. Here we go. Okay, so they call them subtitles. So I'm just going to choose one of them, and I'm just going to drag it in here.
Fill out your details below.
And that's the way that it shows it. And I mean, it just depends on your style, but I often like to actually have a solid box. So I'm going to just go in here, and I'm going to just adjust the size of it. I'm just going to go into advanced because, all right. Now, what we can do as well is it's got it all as
fill out your details.
It's got it all as one box, and you can say, all right, I'm in this section. I'm going to type what he says.
Fill out your details below.
So I'm going to type. Normally I don't do it like this, but if it was not for many words, you can do it like this. Fill out your details below. I just hit play again.
With any question,
you know, with any question you have.
We'll get back to you.
And we'll get back to you within 24 hours, I assume he was going to say there.
Question you have, we'll get back to you within 24 hours.
I'm not going to write that. I've got everything else you just told me. All right. So I don't like this because it's going off the screen. So
fill out your details.
It's gone too far to the left. So in advanced, I should be able to you know what? This is why I don't like their template. This is what I normally do is I actually create my own because it's just not as adaptable. Whereas when you do your own, you can. So what I'm going to do here is in this section, I'm going to go add a shape, and I'm just going to add a rectangle, and now you should just be able to add a rectangle that does not have text in it. There we go. All right. And I'm going to say I want a black rectangle at the bottom, and looks like it's made it quite curved, but I think that's the default to have it sort of, see how it's curved on the end there, which again just annoys me. So I'm just going to stretch it out and then you won't be able to see that curve. I'm just going to bring it down a little bit because I just want a little bit of black box at the bottom. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a text box, and I'm going to say that with David, his font is always going to be Arial, but it's always going to be size 15 perhaps. And let's just see if I can copy and paste this. Oops. These are these standard ones that they do are they seem to be adaptable. They move and everything like that. Whereas I'm going to make one that is I'm more in charge of. So I'm going to delete their one, and I have got this box here, customize it. Sometimes it's easier to go into customize because it's just easier to see your mistakes, and you can see, oh, I missed the word fill there. Now this used to have a spell checker in it too, but it doesn't anymore. So be very careful that that you're spelling your words correctly. I don't know why they got rid of that feature, but if I've transcribed text by myself, just like this, by listening to it and typing it up myself, I always type it into Word first and just make sure that I've gotten it all correct. But I just want to say, all right, we'll make it 20 in this case, and I need to go over to the next line, and I don't want it centered. I just want to make it left aligned, and I'm just going to drag this down here. And I always like to just have a bit of space on either side, because sometimes it just gets too squishy. But often with a very wordy video, you need two lines of text just so it's not changing all the time. So it's actually up there for a bit longer. The more text you have in here, it is better for not changing, blah, 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 blah. All right. Now, just so you know, if you go like this, no, it's not doing it. Okay, it used to stretch it, which is annoying. You don't really want it to stretch. But they've improved some things and they haven't improved other things. So I want to say, okay, I want David's subtitles to always look like this because this is what goes with his brand. So I'm going to say this is a custom, and I'm going to call this David M Captions. And so then if I ever started another file for other videos for David, I can just go in and I can chuck in these custom subtitles, and they'll already look like this. So, you know, this is totally up to you if you want these things to look like this. You could even say that black box. Now, these are the assets down here of this bit. So the it's calling it a text box because I had a text box and I took out the text. But I could say that that the color fill was to be, that's the text fill. There's the color of the actual box. Shape fill, there's the shape fill. So I could say, oh, now I want the background of that shape to be purple, but I also want it a bit more transparent. So, which is a nice effect sometimes, or it could be a black transparent kind of one, because then it's just not such a harsh difference, but it helps your text stand out. Whereas if I had no color here, it's the white all black text can sometimes be very hard to see depending on how many colors are in front of it. So yeah, you can play with the opacity here, or you can just have it full opacity. I might want to give it a border for some unknown reason. I wouldn't want a border on this, but yeah, these things are changeable. And so I'm going to go like that. And then either I can just go Command C, I'm going to copy it, and I can, let's say he talked for that amount of time and that was the right text there, then I can just paste this in. And now let's say I still wanted titles while this picture was here. So what I want to do is I can actually, I should be able to have the, yeah, but it's moved it all, which is annoying. So in this case, I've said, right, I've got video, but I've got a picture on top, but I still want the subtitles to appear. So they still will appear on top of it. So again, I've just added another layer.
Fill out this form below.
Another layer on the cake. So the picture still appears, the voice is still there in the bottom layer, and the top layer is the subtitles sitting right on top. So yeah, it is flexible like that. Otherwise, if I didn't have these subtitles here, the picture wouldn't, it wouldn't be able to show at the same time as the subtitles if I hadn't have done that. It would have just pushed them side by side. So you do have this option of just to keep dragging stuff down and around. You know, there's nothing, these subtitles could all sit up here. It doesn't matter. But it just means that is the top layer of the video, and that nothing will ever come in front of that. So it's like when you play with images and you go forward and back, that's the kind of thing that you're doing here. So yeah, let's say, you know, in this case I can copy and paste it. What a little trick I often do is when I'm working with a big long subtitle is I actually, and my computer just keeps crashing out every time I do that expand function, is that you can expand that out as long as you want, and then you can say, he says this here, and you've got that text in there, and it says, he just said, I am here to answer, da, 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 da. And then you'd go, okay, now he's moved on to the next sentence, but that's all I had fitting in here. So I'm actually selecting the subtitle, and I can Command B there. I can cut the subtitle, and it hasn't cut anything else because the only thing I had selected was the subtitle, okay? If I was selected the image and I hit cut, it would cut the image there. If I was in the video there, it would, oops, I'll show me in the video now, it would cut the video there. But I don't want to do those cuts. I just wanted to cut the subtitle, because then I can go, okay, here's the I am here to answer one. Now here he says, questions you've got about your glaze. Okay, so I'm just going to, why isn't that showing up there? Oh, let's try to do another new text box. That's really annoying. Here it is. All right, I had it selected in the wrong bit. Questions you have about your glaze. So all this is doing by chopping up the subtitles is it's just keeping the exact same thing in the exact same place, which can be handy if, for example, you had a picture in here as well. So in subtitles, you can sometimes add, this is a great place to add someone's logo. So I could go up here and say, I want to put in Jerry's logo or something like that. Where are they? We'll just add anything at the moment. We're just going to add some bananas. No, can't add that for some reason. I'll just add a quote. Let's say we wanted this to be popping up in the top right section. So this image is sitting in the subtitle essentially. And I might say, I just want to have this pop up, and I want it to pop up in the top right. And down the bottom here, this is the One Loves Quotes. That's the name of that file, right? So I could say, I only want it to come up for a little bit of the time while I'm in there. And so here now, the subtitles playing.
Or call me on 0420.
And then the little image just pops up there in the right-hand corner where I put it. But let's say from now on, I want that image to stay, and I always want it to be in the exact same spot. Whereas if I created another new subtitle here and then I put the image in again, it wouldn't always be in the same spot. So what I do is I just I can stretch that subtitle out and just chop it up and change the words as I go, and the image will always be in the same spot. So I can stretch it out, or I can do your good old copy and paste and keep pasting the same subtitle as we go. For some reason, that is making this movie move along. I don't know why. So we're just, sometimes there's little just quirky things that go on like this. So I could have grabbed all those at once, but I've done them separately. So you can see here that each of these subtitles, that image is always in the same spot. Another way to do this is you could also say, oh, I want my logo to show the whole time. And that's when we can go, I'm going to import more media. So I'm going to go File, Import Media, which is really good for when you just want to brand your photos and you just, brand your videos and you want things to show there the whole time. So I'm just going to find one of my little logos and we'll chuck it in there. Let's just do the N, it'll do. All right, so again, it doesn't put it into the video, it puts it into the asset area here. And by putting that black behind it, I know that this is actually a transparent logo. So it's just the N, literally. So I'm going to drag the N down up to the top level because I always want to show it on the top. And it's done that again. That's so annoying. It's just because I'm in Zoom. But so this N is always going to be on the top, and then just drag it down. I'm just going to drag it over to the left, and see if we can do this without it crashing. I don't know why it does that. All right, doesn't matter. So let's imagine that I drag that along the whole thing. I should also be able to tell it how long to play for. Here we are, duration setting. So at the moment, so this was the little clock menu down here. So at the moment it tells me it's going for 27 seconds or something like that. So let's, oh, Jesus, this is doing all sorts of crazy things today. Maybe I can change that to 4 minutes. Let's see if that works. See how it extended that N the whole way along there? Mm-hmm. So it's showing me that N is showing the whole movie. Now I've just dragged it back to the start. So now...
Are you ready for...
Obviously, I didn't do the proper start. There we go. So, oh, that's interesting. It won't go on top of a title. That's a very interesting fact. Oh no, it does. There you go. So I could have it starting after the title or at the title, but whatever. It's up to you. This is just an option for putting in images that can last the whole video, basically. Which is, again, good for just little branding in the corner or something like that. So, yeah, and then you could go, oh, this is going way too long. I'm just going to cut this here and delete that bit. I'm not going to do that stretchy thing because that seems to be crashing out every time I do that. So I'm just going to delete it to the end of the video. All right, save. Okay, I've got a little bit more time. Okay, now the last thing I want to add is some music. Oops, now it's mucking around with the zoom again. Okay, so now I say, oh, you know what, I just want a little bit of background music, which is sometimes what you do in videos like this. So we've already imported the music as we did before, and I'm not concerned that the music was in a different folder. I'm not concerned that my logo was in a different folder because I always know where those assets are sitting anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just going to put the music in, and I'm just going to drag it in. And again, you can't drag it in. Let's see. I don't think you can drag it into the wrong thing. You can't. No, it just put it here. It put it where it's meant to be, down here in the bottom. And you could go play that.
Are you ready for?
And then you're like, oh, it's too loud once he starts talking. So you could say, all right, I'm going to change the volume of this. I have double clicked on the audio, and I am going to bring this right down. See those decibel bars moving as I'm doing this?
Mm-hmm.
And I'll just hit play
For the national
and go, oh, it's still way too loud. I'm going to bring that down again.
construction code updates.
You might say, it's still too loud. I just want it really soft.
2019 is your business.
You're like, yeah, that's a bit better, you know. But you might also say, you know what, I want it, I want this opener to be longer. Let's see if we can. Where's that timing thing? All right. Let's say I want this, seems to have some kind of dragging feature in here. So I've made that opener now last for 4 seconds. So then it would be 4 seconds of music before he starts talking. But you go, oh, you know what? I want that.
Are you ready?
I want that just little bit of music to be a little bit louder before he starts talking. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to line this thing up here with the end of the opener, and I'm going to cut the music. No, I didn't have the music selected there. So I'm going to cut the music, and I'll just check that it did it. It did. Okay. So now I've got 2 seconds of two bits of music, but I am going to increase this one just slightly, so that's a bit louder than the rest. I've done that probably too far, but let's just have a listen.
Are you ready for the?
And see, it was a bit of a jump from louder to soft. What I can do here is I drag here. There it is. This little drag thing here. I can't drag. There's a way to I'm just going to tell the kids to shut up. Hold on a second. Getting too loud. All right. Here it is. It's up here now. I've double clicked on the music and it says fade in and fade out. So I actually just want it to fade out for just a little bit, because then it will bring it a bit better as a gradual push to get to that lower volume of the next bit. This is quite advanced stuff, but I'm just showing you that you can, that this is the kinds of things that you can do. So the music should get softer.
Are you ready for the national?
So it was still a little bit of a jerky type jump there. So I would just keep playing with that. It might need a little bit more fade out. Okay, see, this has moved now. This is my fade out scaler that I was trying to find before. So I could actually just make that a little bit more fade out. And that might just It just might sound a little bit better now.
Are you ready for the?
So it was just a little bit jerky still. So it's just a matter of playing with it. But they're the kinds of things you do. You can split your music, make it louder in this bit, make it softer in this bit. Or what I could have done was forget that. I go, that just sounds crap. Oh, that's driving me nuts. All right. I'm going to start the song here. And no, that doesn't work. I was going to say we'll fade down to it, but that wouldn't work. That wouldn't work. That would be a fade in and getting louder, but I want to start loud and go softer. So that is the only way that you can do that, is to split the music and get a little bit softer. But otherwise, sometimes you want to fade into music if it starts really rough. But often where we use fade out is when we get to the end of the video, and let's say the song was mid thing when it finished, which at the moment here it's actually finishing at a really good point. It's probably a little bit too long. I'm not going to stretch it down because my thing will flip out. But I'm gonna go to the music and say, let's say the video ended here, and I'm going to cut the music there. But it'll sound really strange at the end of a video and it just cuts off. So this is where you then go, all right, I want that music to fade out for the last 2 seconds or something like that. So then
just fill out this form.
And the music goes down. And again, once you've set that fade out, this little dragger system here appears, and you can just say, oh, I just want it to be a little bit longer, so or a little bit shorter, or whatever it is. So that's your sort of your fade in and fade out. And you always want to have a little bit of fade out if you've got a song that ends when it's not meant to end naturally. So that's adding music. So I'm just trying to think what else I should cover in the time that we've got. Okay, have you got any questions right now?
Not at the moment. No.
Okay, what I'm going to show you is actually exporting and things like that. So because that's important too. So let's say, we're so happy with this video, the quality is so good. We might actually want to add a little thing at the end. So let's say that David has a little video sign off, and in this case, he's going to have one of mine. Just got to think where they are. No, they're not in there. Promo videos, I think they're in. Yeah, it's one of these. Here we do. This is a paper airplane one. I've got all these little video outros. So it's just like putting in a normal asset, just like everything else. Sometimes it's just fun to sign off with a little video. All right, so I'm just going to pop this in here at the end, and it'll just play. And if I wanted to add a call to action at the end of the video here, which call to action is really important, I could just pop that in as a subtitle below. So I could copy my subtitle file and I'll just paste that over here. You know, sorry, done it again. Can't drag. I could go, all right, it's too long. I'm going to cut it. cut the subtitle file. I'm going to set my call to action. You just go up to customize if you want to type it in here, or you can type it in down here. It doesn't really matter. Sometimes little things go funny. Sometimes if you go in here and you type in here, sometimes it looks funny. So then if that happens, I go down to this section and I type it in here. It just depends what happens. There's just a little glitch that happens sometimes. So we could just say contact David Morehouse. Oh, you know, 04 right? Or email hello@david.com. Right. So yeah, this is just really basic, just changing the things that you've already got. And I'm going to hit OK. And let's say I wanted the music to go a bit longer. I could stretch it out, but I'm not going to stretch it out because that's what keeps jumping out of my program. But if you decided that you wanted the music to go longer, it could. But this little video outro has got music anyway, so I don't need to. But I might also say, you know what, that outro is a bit loud compared to the rest of the video. So I can just double click on that and just drag this down to roughly that same kind of level, so that it's not as a big jump from the volume of his thing. And then you go, oh, I copied and pasted that subtitle and I don't want that image there anymore. So I just go into that subtitle and I go to advanced and I just delete it out of here, and then it won't appear in that subtitle again, but it'll still be here in these other ones. So what I try and do is at the start of making a video, I always try and oh, that's a horrible look, I got to move the thing. I try and set up the subtitle to look exactly the way I want it before I go and start chopping them up and changing all the words, because then if I want to make one change to, let's say, that logo to appear there. Now, having said that, there's actually no reason why you should actually have a logo in there appearing that whole time, because you can actually just do what we did with this N and have that appearing the whole time. So the whole point, this used to be a cheat that I used to do for in one of the older versions when I couldn't do on top of and things like that. So the whole point of adding a picture into the subtitles is just when you want to have a picture appear just while that title is going. So he might say, oh, I'm talking about this, and here's a little graph on my left that demonstrates that. And so this could be the graph on the left, and you could just pop that in there. This could be a PowerPoint slide, and you could have a smaller version of the PowerPoint slide next to the person rather than it sitting on top of the person and things like that. So there's no actual need to so let's just say that was the image that he was talking about there. There's no actual need to really worry about having that image in the subtitle, because the best and most professional way to do it is to have that brand stamp or something like that sitting up as this top level of your video. But sometimes there's just different layers going on in different places, and you just have that need. So like I said, I always try and, whether there's an image in the subtitle section or not, with even the look of it, I try and get it looking perfect and exactly the way I want it with the client or something like that. So I'll send them that. I go, do you like the look of this subtitle? Yes, it's approved. And then I'll go on and I'll drag it out, which I keep showing you that I can't do in this right now because of Zoom, but I'll drag it out the whole length of it, and then I'll split them up. And then I'll go, okay, this is the section where he said, hi everyone, I'm talking about responsibility, blah, 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 blah. And then as soon as he finishes that sentence, I go, cut. And then I start the next line, and I go in and I edit it again to say what he's saying during that line. So often in the case when I've got the transcript already done, or someone's given me a script, I just literally copy and paste it in from Word, and I'll or a text document or something like that, and I'll paste it into the subtitle file and just split it up when the person stops talking, basically. So I might, listen to what someone's saying, and and go, okay, yeah, I can. What I actually do is I fit the words in there first. So I might type in 2 sentences here, and you go, okay, I can fit that many words. When does he stop saying this last word? And you go, okay, he says this last word here, and then you go, like, so if it was playing, you'd say, if he said last word right here, then I'd go into that subtitle, and then I'd split that subtitle, and then I'd go into the next one, and this old one is still sitting here, and he finishes with the word last word there, and then I go into this one where he's starting to talk about something else, and I'll just
Ask
start.
a question.
Yeah.
Okay. Instead of just typing that in, could you use the Otter app?
Yep.
And just to have that sitting there, and as he's doing the video, it will be typing it out, and then you can cut it and paste and put it into here.
Yeah. So that's what I covered in my thing yesterday.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
So no, that's fine. That's fine. So I'm glad you know about that already. So yes, you can use Otter, and you can copy and paste the text out, and you can export text documents, or you can export SRT files. So SRT files are the caption files that like YouTube and Facebook and everything read. I think you can only export those in the paid version of Otter. I don't think you can export it in the free version.
I'm only new to it. It's just that I use it when I'm recording, lectures or something like that, and then I can just have it written. That's all. I'm really basic.
Yeah. But absolutely, you can, and that's what I meant when I've already got the text sitting somewhere. Usually, I've what my process is usually is I'll let's say I want to get the text from these videos. I'll edit it down to exactly what I want. I'll put the intro and outro, so everything's the right timing, basically. And I'll go, yep, I'm happy with this video. I'm ready to do the subtitles now. So I'll export it, and I'll show you how we do that. So let's say we were all ready to do this one. We'll just save it. Okay, so I've saved it. Now I'm going to export it, and this is where it's probably going to tell me to buy it. I haven't bought this version, but this is a good test because I haven't used my login yet for this version. My login would just let me do it, but I haven't done that login. So first of all, let's see if it'll let us do an MP3 in the free version. So it wants to put this in the Filmora output folder. But again, I always just say, chuck everything in the folder that you've been working in. So we just browse to others, and we browse to where we've been working on our, where's desktop? I've gone blind, there it is. Filmora lesson, and that opens up that folder. And I'm just going to tell the kids to shut up. All right. Having the kids home, God. All right. Just got the circle of death for some reason. All right. So I had chosen here on the left, sorry, I probably didn't explain that these are all the file types. So what I want to do first, because it will do it very quickly, is export an MP3. So I'm going to say David Audio, and it's saved in the folder I want, and we don't need to change any settings for exporting an MP3. Now let's see if it tells us that. Oh, look, it's going to do that in the free version. That's good to know. So it does this. It does audios very, very quickly. All right, so that's done. So now I can see here in my, I don't know if you can you see my desktop, Filmora lesson? Yeah, okay, right. So you can see that audio file is there. God, I keep telling them to shut up.
How long is 5 minutes, Mum?
Oh, I know. So you can see there it's made the audio file. This David Test WFP is the actual Filmora file, right? So you can see this file is only 1.9 meg big. And the reason is because it doesn't actually store the videos in it. It just links to them. So that's why it's really important that you don't rename the videos once you've put them into Filmora, and that you don't move them around, because it'll go, oh, I can't find my video, you know. So don't muck around with the names or move them once you've set up your Filmora thing. You can do it, and Filmora will say, where is it? And you can say, oh, it's here now. And you can browse to that folder and you can locate it. But it's best not to move things and not to change the names of things once you've created this file, because it creates all these links to it. All right, so I've created the audio. So then, yes, you can go into Otter and upload that to Otter and then export away from Otter. So like I said, I would prepare the subtitles in Otter, and then I would come back in here. I've got my text file. I've got my pretty subtitles that I like the look of. I'll expand them out the whole length, and then I'll just chop them up and paste the text in as I go. So let's say we were completely happy with this video, which is the most hideous looking thing ever. We just want to export it again. This time over here, we're going to export this as a MP4 is the best one. You can do .mov is highly accepted on a lot of platforms as well, MV4 and things like that, but just stick to MP4 and you usually can't go wrong unless something is specifically asking for something else. You can also make a GIF here, which is one of those little animated type things. Like it could go for 2 seconds, so you could make a little animated GIF of your own logo or something like that. But MP4, we'll just do that, and then we'll go David Test. And then it tells me it's going to be 162 meg. It tells me it's 2 minutes and 3 seconds. The resolution here is good. That's fine. That's what we wanted. That's what we set at the start, 1920 by 1080. But you could also say, you know what, this is only going on Facebook for mobile or something like that. I'm going to actually downsize it to that next one down, 1280 by 720. You can even go down to the 720 size if you really want to. It's a very small video. But if you were really pushed for size, like sometimes on Instagram, you can't have anything bigger than 50 megabytes if you're going to upload it from your phone or something. So that had already told me it was going to be 126. So let's see if it changes it. No, it didn't. That's interesting. See if that changes the size. Oh, come on. Maybe it just doesn't update that very good.
Maybe you have to put it okay then. Oh, you're already doing that.
Okay, that's gotten it down to 64 meg, for instance. So then you can see what the size will be. So if there is a size limitation, then you know that's what you should do basically. For some reason it hasn't updated again, but all we have to do then is hit export, and is it going to do it? All right, so okay, it's doing it. That's good. You could have chosen to, I didn't see it there, but sometimes there's an option to export it straight to Vimeo or straight to YouTube or something like that. So if you didn't want to have the space on your computer exporting the video, then you could upload it, export it straight to a platform. But it can be really slow, really, really slow to do that. And if it crashes, you got to start again. So I always export to my computer and just make sure that I've got the space on my computer to be exporting videos. And as soon as I've exported things, I usually upload that exported file to my Google Drive, and I just keep a copy there, and I delete the exported version from my computer. And I often, because these video files end up taking up a lot of space on your computer, so sometimes I'll upload that whole Filmora document to a folder on Google Drive, and I'll call it working files or something like that for David Morehouse's video, and I'll upload all the videos and assets and everything like that, and I'll store it on the Google Drive, and I'll even upload the Filmora file as well, so that WFP or whatever it's called, some letters. I'll upload everything, and then I'll just delete the really heavy assets out of my computer, so the ones that take up a lot of space, and I know that all those files that needs to attach to it are in the Google Drive. Should I ever have to come and open this one again and it's looking for all the assets, I can just download that exact same folder from Google Drive, chuck it back on my computer, and it will find everything again. So it's just a matter of managing your space and everything like that. But usually I get rid of the really big working files and everything like that. I'll get rid of the originals and things like that. So in this case, like, I put together 5 videos of him. What I might do in other cases when I'm working with a lot of videos is I'll put all those videos together. So 5008, 5009, 092, 010, blah, blah, blah. I'll put them all together and I'll cut out all the crappy bits, and then I'll export it as David Morehouse working document or working video or something like that. And then I'll just open up a brand new Filmora project and just have that one video in it. So I'm only working with the one asset. It can just get too messy when you're working with all these different videos. So that's sometimes what I do too, is just chuck them all together roughly, then start a new export that video, and then play around with that new exported video, because you've got less chops here and less mistakes will happen if you've done a pre-edit and everything like that, and putting them all together. So that's exporting now. Videos can take anywhere from 2 minutes to a couple of hours to export, depending on how big they are. So don't be scared if it seems like it's going to take hours, because a 25-minute video, for instance, could take that long. If you need to upload anything longer than 15 minutes to YouTube, you just got to make sure that you've verified your YouTube channel. You can see this one's moving quite quickly because it was only a couple of minutes or something in the end. So that's how you export, and all you do is it says it's been created. Now, I'm confused why it didn't ask me to buy anything, and let's just see if it has a watermark. Otherwise, it's magically logged me in as me and it knows who I am, even though this was just brand new, downloaded today. It didn't put a watermark, so I don't know why why it hasn't done that, because this is technically not the paid version, and I can't see that I'm logged in or anything like that. So
well, I'll know when I do mine.
yeah. So like I said, just have a play around with it and export it, and it might just say to you it's going to have a watermark on it or something like that, but that might not bother you at all. the other thing you've got too on your computer, Kay, is iMovie. So you can export anything from iMovie. That's a free program that you've got. So if you ever want a lesson in iMovie, let me know, and we can do that for the Mac. The iMovie is really good for this version of Filmora 9 is better because of the sound bars. iMovie has a really nice sound bar, and it's really easy to do that first edit, and it's actually got a good feature for reducing background noise and reducing the hum and things like that sometimes you get in a video. So I actually do, although I'll play around with this version a little bit more, I actually do my first cut in iMovie and fix up the sound and things like that. And then I export it in iMovie, and I put that exported version into Filmora, because iMovie can't do the same kind of subtitles. It's very, very limited for subtitles and titles and other things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the one thing I did forget to show you that you just have to know is transitions. And that is where, instead of just going from cut to cut to cut, you've actually got something a little bit swooshy or something like that. So transitions is just up here, and maybe I just want to do a dissolve, and all I'm doing is grabbing it and dragging it down into between the two video files here, and it will sit it there like this. It looks like this grey box. So that is going to make it look like, just watch the video top right. So see how it faded into the title, and then you go, okay, I didn't like dissolve. Maybe I'm going to do something a bit fancy. I'm going to try plain shape 1. So let's see how that looks. So, yeah. And I mean, the most common one that I use is dissolve. So I've put a dissolve there because it's just a good way to dissolve between pictures and videos.
Okay. Yep.
And also video to video. So if he had, not just where he might make a mistake and he pauses for too long, but if there's a big change in what he's talking about, I might put a dissolve between what he's talking about, because it just needs some kind of
fill out your details
transition.
below.
I didn't realize
Yep.
I still had the picture over the top, but you get what I mean. So fade, I don't like fade as much. I like dissolve the best, but you can change the length of these. I'm not going to drag it because I'll probably get booted out again, but you can drag these, and you can also double click on them, and you can say, I want all of them to only go for 1 second, and I can just apply it to all, and they'll all change to 1 second. You can also do prefix and post fix. So that means that the dissolve will happen before the split, or the dissolve will happen after the split, or it will happen in the middle of the split. I always prefer overlap, but sometimes where you would do it on the side is when it's the end or something like that. So you might say, I want to have a dissolve at the end here, and it will just automatically put it at the end of it. And so why couldn't I say it? Anyway, couldn't tell that it had happened. Oh, you know why? Because I put the dissolve on the subtitle. I didn't put it on the video. I didn't know you could put it on the subtitle. There you go. I've learned something new today. I don't seem to be able to drag it, so I'm just going to delete it from there, and I'm just going to put a new one on here. Is it going to let me do it? Is that little bit of? Oh, there's a little bit of. See that? This sometimes happens when you drag things around. A little bit of the end of the video ended up after my outro. So I'm just going to, it's not playing ball for some reason. I'm just going to delete that little bit there because it kept it there. Sometimes you really have to zoom in sometimes because it just does some crazy little things like that sometimes. So I'm just going to put a fade out on the end of this. I'm quite zoomed in so it looks massive. and that's moved. That had moved. So now there's just a fade out there, and you go, oh, that looked a bit short. I'm going to extend it out. So you just drag it out, or again, you just double click on it and, you know, make that fade out last for 4 seconds or something. I don't know if, that changed it to 0.4, just so you know there. I typed into 4 and it changed it to 0.4. So I'm going to change it to 404. Warning, there's not enough free displays to complete the print of brand. Oh, okay, whatever. All right. Oops, I hit apply to all. Doesn't matter. They would have all changed to that now. But that would be a 4 second fade out now. So just looks nice to do that. So you can do all sorts of fancy things. So, you know, sometimes I do one that looks like a flash if it's between, if it's a photo shoot, you know, or something like that. And I'll go, you know, flash. No, it's not. Oh, that didn't work because we had the photo on top of it. I'll delete that photo. I don't want that photo on the top now. So it's kind of like a flash version, or, you know, just something. If you replace it, it just replaces it. It doesn't put two there. Yeah. So you go, yeah, okay, I like blind. Oh no, maybe I want plain shape. You know, it's just depends how creative you want to get. So there's all sorts of different things that you can do, but that's what transitions are, and it's literally just drag it in there and play with it. So
good.
Yeah. So if I made more changes again, yes, I would have to export it all again. So that's what can be the painful thing. So usually I don't export it until I'm really, really ready. So I hope that's been good. I've got to have my little break before my next
exactly.
my PC class.
That voice.
Yeah, I do. Have a strepsil.
I know, you can hear it. Yes.
Yeah.
Poor lovey.
And I've been sick for like 2 weeks. It just hasn't gone away. So thank you so much.
Gargling with anything, or?
Yeah, doing all that.
Have you got your oils?
I've been doing on off. Thank you, Kay, and thank you to anyone that is watching the recording of this. It's been a little bit up and down and disjointed today because we've had things jumping and flying everywhere and installing new software and stuff. But if anyone has any questions about using Filmora on their Mac, let me know. And like I said to Kay, on a Mac you've also got Imovie for free, which is a really powerful tool, but it doesn't do captioning as well, nearly as well, and a couple other things, but it does do some things very well. So like I was saying, I do often do a first edit in Imovie. So over and out, and thank you for joining us. Thanks heaps, Kay.